Hey there, happy December. I'm the Gulf Coast Granny, and today I'm going to show you guys what 31 degrees looks like in Mississippi. We had our first frost this morning, and Poppy and I knew it was coming, so we came outside and we built a hoop house for the tomatoes, and we covered the hoop house that I made for the peppers. And I also covered the squash to see if I could save them because, believe it or not, after struggling to grow squash all spring and summer, I finally have one zucchini on my stinking squash plant. After the hurricane, that squash decided to start growing, and now it takes up half the bed. So I decided to try to save it. Guess first off, I'll show you guys my raised bed. The frost has pretty much gone away. The sun's come out now, but the leaves are still kind of damp. When I first came out this morning, these rutabagas here and the kohlrabi were kind of wilty. Now that the sun's out, they look like they're coming back to life. These are my beets down here. They're not growing very quickly, but it's wintertime. I don't expect it. Those are some peas, two different varieties. They're Wando and I forget the other kind. Down here are my collard greens, and they're kind of purple. They're called Alabama Blue. There's my mustard greens. Over here in this bed, I have my Brussels sprouts are doing great. And I actually even have a couple of small ones down here that I planted at the beginning of November. Brussels sprouts take forever. And these are my little, when I thinned this bed, I put the thinnings over here. So it's a mixture of collard greens and mustard greens and kale. This row here is kale. Over there, I just have a few little broccoli plants growing on the end, and the rest of the bed is pretty much empty. I did have a sweet potato come back, but I think the frost last night is going to kill it. See how wilty it is? There's my tunnel for the tomatoes, and that's my little tunnel for the peppers. And that, I just tinted this bed. It's a 6 foot in diameter bed. So I just tinted it and put those bags of cow manure down to hold the bed straight. I've got some clothespins down there holding everything together too. But let me show you what I've done with this tomato bed. If you'll notice, I've got an extension cord running up that middle rib there on this low tunnel. And I've attached a red heat lamp on the inside of that. And it's the heat lamp that I use to keep the chickens warm. So I thought I would attach it, and I turned it on all night long to hopefully provide more heat for these tomatoes. Now, I'm not trying to grow any additional tomatoes. What I'm trying to do is to keep the green ones that are growing on the vine until they turn red and I can harvest them. Then I'll pull these out and start again in the spring. But I'm just trying to save what I can. Might as well give you guys a little bitty tour since we've seen half of it already. I've got some broccoli planted down here. There's some radishes on the end and some sugar snap peas all along that fence line. Got some little baby carrots in that bed. That's the few that survived the bug attack. This is cilantro. Over in that corner is some beans. They're probably dead. That yellow squash next to it's probably dead. But now that red mustard is doing really well. Looks like the frost didn't bother it a bit. Now right there's another tomato bush, and I just uncovered that to check on it. Don't know what happened. I was not able to put any light under there or secure it very well. So Poppy just put that plastic right there over it to see if we could save it, but I really don't think we did. We'll see after tonight. When it warms up a little bit, if it perks up, well, that's great. If it doesn't, that's all right too. In the next bed are some radishes. And there's some lettuce, but some bugs got to that and just about decimated that bed. Here, the next one is my Windsor beans, or fava beans, broad beans. And they're all laying down. Now, this is a cold weather bean. It grows in the winter time. So, I think it'll be all right once the sun hits it. And, of course, in that last one down there are some more shelling peas, English peas. Down here is some lacinato kale in these two beds. And this is some red bunching onions. And that is some ragged jack kale. And the rest of them are empty right now. Since it's winter time and we only have a few hours of sunlight every day, everything's growing very, very slowly. And it will continue to do that probably until January. I'm going to leave all of these plants in the ground, at least until I start my spring garden. The mustard will be huge, everything will be big and green and beautiful and edible. So I'm excited to see what happens this winter, but I know nothing's going to happen very quickly. Y'all have a great day, and I'll talk to you again real soon, all right?